The slap echoes through the flower-draped ballroom like a gunshot. My cheek burns. My ears ring. 200 wedding guests gasp in unison as Victoria Montgomery, bride, socialite, future Mrs. Chun, stands over me with her hands still raised, her face twisted into something ugly beneath her $10,000 veil. "You clumsy idiot," she screams. "You've ruined everything." The champagne stain spreads across her silk train like blood. An accident. My tray caught on her dress as she swept past me. Too close, too fast, performing for her audience. Security moves toward us. The wedding planner's face has gone white. Victoria's hand rises again. I step closer instead of away, and I whisper 5 words only she can hear. Her face drains of color. Her hand drops. Her eyes go wide with something between terror and rage. "No," she breathes. "You can't." "I already did," I say quietly. Then I walk toward the exit while chaos erupts behind me, while Victoria's carefully constructed perfect day begins to crumble, while the truth I've been carrying for 6 weeks finally sees daylight. 6 weeks earlier, the Chun estate sprawls across Pacific Heights like a crown jewel overlooking San Francisco Bay. Old money, tech money, the kind of wealth that photographs well for architectural magazines. I stand in the service entrance with my references and my pressed uniform and my carefully neutral expression. Another household, another job, another chance to be invisible while I notice everything. The head of staff, Margaret, walks me through routines. Mr. Chen's wedding is in 6 weeks. His fiancée Victoria has moved into the East Wing. She's particular. Something in her tone makes me pay attention. The children? I ask. The job listing mentioned 2. Margaret's expression tightens. Lily is 7. James is 5. They're Mr. Chen's from his first marriage. Their mother passed 2 years ago. Breast cancer. My chest constricts. I know about mothers who die too young. About children left behind. Mr. Chen travels extensively for business. The children will be primarily your responsibility. Victoria doesn't. She pauses, choosing words carefully. Victoria didn't anticipate children in her life plan. Red flag number 1. I meet the children that afternoon. Lily has her father's serious eyes and her mother's delicate features. She watches me with the wariness of someone who's learned not to trust easily. James clings to her hand, thumb in his mouth despite being too old for it. "Hello," I say, crouching to their level. "I'm Claire. I'm going to help take care of you. Our last nanny left," Lily says flatly. Victoria fired her. "Why?" "Because Miss Emma made James laugh too loud during Victoria's yoga session." I keep my face neutral. "I'll try to be quieter." "It won't matter," Lily says with 7-year-old certainty. Victoria doesn't like us. I learned the rhythm of the household quickly. David Chun is kind but absent. Video calls from Singapore, London, New York. Building his empire. Trusting his fiancée to manage his home. Victoria is beautiful, charming, 28 to David's 45. Former model. Current influencer. She photographs the estate constantly, curates her feed, performs graciousness for cameras while speaking to staff like we're furniture. To the children, she's worse. Not obviously cruel. Nothing you could report. Just cold. Dismissive. Annoyed by their existence. "Take them somewhere," she snaps on day 3 when James's laughter interrupts her content shoot. They're being disruptive. We're in the garden. Playing. Being children. I take them to the park instead. "Victoria's going to be our new mom," James says on the swings. Daddy said. "How do you feel about that?" I ask. His little face crumples. "I miss our real mom." Lily puts her arm around him. "Daddy says we have to try. That Victoria needs time to adjust. That everything will be fine once they're married." But her eyes say she doesn't believe it. Neither do I. Over the following weeks, I watch Victoria with the attention I've trained myself to use. I watch her face when David video calls and the children run to the screen, excited. The flash of irritation before she smooths into a smile. I watch her redirect gifts David sends for the children. A dollhouse for Lily ends up in the guest room and used. A train set for James still in its box because he's too young to appreciate it properly. I watch her plan her wedding with meticulous attention to aesthetics and zero mention of the children who will become her stepchildren. "They won't be in the ceremony," she tells the wedding planner during a meeting I'm serving refreshments for. "Children are unpredictable. They'll ruin the photos." But Mr. Chin specifically requested. David leaves these decisions to me. No children in the ceremony. The planner makes notes, uncomfortable. I serve tea and say nothing. But I notice. The incident happens on Tuesday. I find James crying in his room, his favorite stuffed elephant, the last gift from his mother. Torn open, stuffing pulled out. What happened? I ask, gathering him close. Victoria said it was ratty, he sobs. She said I'm too old for baby toys. She threw it away. I got it from the trash, but it's broken. Lily appears in the doorway, furious. She's mean. She's always mean when Daddy's not here. I hold James while he cries. I repair his elephant as best I can. I document everything in the journal I've been keeping. Not for me. For David. For whoever might need to know that his children are suffering while he's building his empire. That night, I make a decision. I start recording. Video on my phone during the day when Victoria doesn't know I'm there. Audio at night. I capture her speaking to the children with contempt. Criticizing Lily's appearance. You'll never be pretty if you keep eating like that. Dismissing James's attempts to connect. Stop following me around. Go play somewhere else. I capture her on the phone with her friends, laughing about her soon-to-be stepchildren. 2 years max until they're off to boarding school. David's already considering it. I just have to make it unbearable enough that he thinks it's his idea. I capture her cruelty in the small moments. The gift she intercepts. The activities she cancels. The way she erases their dead mother from their home. Removing photos, donating clothes, clearing away memories. Fresh start, she tells David on a video call while the children are at school. We need to move forward, not live in the past. He nods, trusting her judgment. Not seeing what I see. Not knowing what his children endure in his absence. 3 weeks before the wedding, Lily stops eating. 7 years old, and she's counting calories, pinching her stomach, asking if she looks fat. I find Victoria's magazine in her room, pages marked with notes. This is what pretty girls look like. My hands shake with rage I can't express. That night, I compile everything. Every video. Every recording. Every documented incident. I burn it to a flash drive. And I make a choice that will cost me everything. I'm going to tell David Chin the truth about the woman he's about to marry. Even if he doesn't believe me. Even if I lose this job. Even if Victoria destroys me for it. Because I've stayed silent before. I've watched children suffer because I was afraid to speak. Not this time. Getting to David Chun is harder than I anticipated. He's in Tokyo for 2 weeks leading up to the wedding. His calls with Victoria are scheduled, brief, filtered through her careful performance. The children get 5 minutes of screen time where they're coached to smile and say they're fine. They're not fine. Lily's getting thinner. James has started wetting the bed again. Both of them flinch when Victoria's heels click across marble floors. Counting down. Victoria says brightly to her friends during another phone call I record. 3 weeks until I'm Mrs. Chun. 4 weeks until we start discussing boarding school options. By fall, I'll have this house to myself and a very generous joint bank account. She's not marrying David. She's acquiring a lifestyle. I try calling David's office directly. I'm told he's unavailable. I try emailing his assistant. No response. I consider calling Child Protective Services, but Victoria's smart. She never leaves marks, never does anything obviously reportable. Just psychological warfare against children too young to articulate what's happening. So I wait for David to come home. He arrives 6 days before the wedding. I find him in his study at 11 p.m., finally alone, working through jet lag and paperwork. I knock softly. Mr. Chen, may I speak with you? He looks up, surprised. Claire, right? The new caregiver. Is everything all right? No, sir. It's not. Something in my voice makes him put down his pen. I close the door. I sit when he gestures. And I tell him everything. About Victoria's treatment of his children. About the gifts, the comments, the systematic erasure of their mother. About Lily's eating and James's nightmares. These are serious accusations, he says slowly. Victoria has assured me the children are adjusting well. With respect, sir, they're not. I show him my phone. The videos play in the quiet study. Victoria's real voice, her real face, her real intentions. His expression hardens with each clip. Why didn't anyone tell me? He asks finally. I think people tried, sir. Your previous nanny left rather suddenly. Victoria said she was unprofessional. Victoria says a lot of things. He watches the recordings again. His jaw clenches. 3 days before my wedding, you bring me this? Would you prefer I waited until after? The silence stretches between us. I love her, he says quietly. Or I thought I did. She's been so supportive since Margaret died. So understanding about the business, the travel, everything. She's been patient, sir. There's a difference. Patient people wait for something they want. Understanding people accept what is. He looks at me sharply. You're very observant for a caregiver. That's my job. To notice things. To protect your children when you can't be here. By destroying my relationship? By telling you the truth about who's in your home. What you do with that truth is your choice. David doesn't sleep that night. I hear him pacing, making calls. By morning, he's calm but decided. I'm postponing the wedding. He tells Victoria at breakfast. Just a few weeks. Give us time to work on some things. Victoria's fork freezes halfway to her mouth. Work on what things? Integration. Family dynamics. The children's adjustment. The children are fine, David. Are they? Something flickers across her face. What has that maid been telling you? Her name is Claire, and she's been telling me what I should have been seeing for myself. Victoria's expression shifts. Confusion, then calculation, then rage barely controlled. You're letting the help interfere with our relationship? Some woman you barely know. I'm listening to someone who spends more time with my children than I do. That's not something to be proud of, but it's true. If you postpone this wedding, she starts. Then we postpone it. If our relationship can't survive a few weeks of honest conversation, it shouldn't survive at all. Victoria stands abruptly. This is that maid's fault. I want her fired. Today. No. The word hangs in the air. No. Victoria's voice goes dangerously quiet. Claire stays. We talk. We figure this out like adults. Or, he pauses, we don't get married at all. Victoria leaves the room with controlled fury. I'm collecting dishes when she corners me in the kitchen. You'll regret this, she hisses. Do you have any idea who I am? What I can do to you? I know exactly who you are, I reply calmly. The question is whether David knows. He loves me. He'll forgive me. We'll get past this little speed bump and then you'll be gone. Maybe. But those children will remember that someone finally protected them. That's enough. She leans close, her perfume expensive and cloying. You're just the help. You don't matter. You're nothing. I've heard this before. From other employers. Other people who confused wealth with worth. Maybe, I say. But nothing has all your secrets on video. Victoria doesn't postpone the wedding. She cancels the postponement the next day, insisting everything proceed as planned. She cries, apologizes, promises David she'll try harder with the children. She's stressed, overwhelmed. She didn't mean any of it. He wants to believe her. I see it in his face. She deserves a chance, he tells me privately. People make mistakes. Say things they don't mean. Those children deserve protection more than she deserves chances, I reply. But it's not my choice. The wedding day arrives. 200 guests. A 10-piece orchestra. Flowers that cost more than I make in a year. Victoria in custom Vera Wang. Every inch the perfect bride. The children aren't in the ceremony. They sit in the third row with me, quiet and confused. Is Daddy really marrying her? James whispers. Yes, sweetie. But she's mean. I know. Lily squeezes my hand. You tried. I did. The ceremony begins. David stands at the altar looking handsome and uncertain. Victoria glides down the aisle like she's floating. Everyone watches her, captivated. No one's watching the children cry silently beside me. I make a decision. When the ceremony ends and the cocktail hour begins, I'm serving champagne, my assigned duty, invisible labor among the celebrating wealthy. Victoria sweeps through the ballroom accepting congratulations, posing for photos, glowing in her triumph. She brushes too close to me, deliberately, testing. My tray catches on her dress. Champagne spills across the silk tray. The slap comes before I can react. And then I whisper the words I've been saving. The flash drive is with David's lawyer. If anything happens to those children, he opens it. Her face transforms. You're lying. Test me. Security approaches. David pushes through the crowd, confused. What's going on? He demands. Victoria recovers quickly. This clumsy maid ruined my dress. I want her arrested for assault. Assault. I keep my voice level. You slapped me, Mrs. Chun. In front of 200 witnesses. David looks between us, understanding dawning. Everyone saw. Someone in the crowd confirms. Victoria's mask cracks. She did it on purpose. She's been sabotaging me from the beginning. Poisoning you against me. She's obsessed with destroying our happiness. Or, I say quietly, I'm protecting your stepchildren from someone who sees them as obstacles. The ballroom goes silent. David, Victoria's voice breaks. You can't believe her. She's lying. She's just the maid. She's nothing. Claire, David says slowly. What flash drive? Insurance, I reply. In case anyone tried to silence me. Your lawyer has everything. He'll know what to do with it. Victoria's composure shatters. You bitch. You have no idea what you've done. I'll sue you. I'll destroy you. You'll do nothing, David interrupts, his voice cold. Because if any of what Claire documented is true, you'll be lucky if I don't press charges. Press charges? For what? Being stressed? Being human? Having a hard time adjusting to instant motherhood? For psychological abuse of my children. The words echo through the ballroom. Victoria laughs, but it sounds desperate. This is insane. You're ruining our wedding over the paranoid accusations of hired help. No, David says. I'm protecting my children from someone who never should have been near them. He turns to me. The lawyer. His name. I tell him. Victoria grabs David's arm. Please. Let's talk about this privately. Send her away. We can fix this. He removes her hand gently. There's nothing to fix, Victoria. This marriage is over. The annulment takes 6 weeks. Victoria contests it, of course. Hires expensive lawyers. Claims emotional distress, defamation, conspiracy. Her legal team tries to paint me as a scorned employee with a vendetta. David as a man having cold feet. The whole situation as a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. Then David's lawyer plays the recordings in the judge's chambers. Victoria's voice, crystal clear. 2 years max until they're off to boarding school. The judge grants the annulment. The prenuptial agreement Victoria insisted on protects David's assets. She leaves with nothing but her reputation in tatters and a restraining order keeping her away from the children. I'm terminated the day the annulment is finalized. It's not punitive, David explains in his study. But the children need stability. Fresh start. Someone not associated with this whole mess. I understand, I say. And I do. My presence is a reminder of trauma they don't need. He hands me an envelope. 6 months severance. A reference letter. And a personal thank you from someone who almost made the worst mistake of his life. The children will be fine. I'm cutting back on travel. Hiring a child psychologist. Actually being their father instead of their bank account. He pauses. Lily's eating again. James hasn't had a nightmare in 2 weeks. Good. You saved them, Claire. I noticed them. There's a difference. Is there? Maybe not. Maybe noticing is the first act of saving. Maybe paying attention when everyone else is distracted is the most radical form of protection. I say goodbye to the children on a Tuesday morning. Lily hugs me fiercely. Thank you for being mean to Victoria. I wasn't mean, sweetheart. I was honest. Same thing, she says wisely. When someone's bad, honest is mean to them. James gives me his repaired elephant. So you remember us. I could never forget you. I hand the elephant back. But he belongs with you. Your mom gave him to you. That's important. David walks me to my car. If you ever need anything, references, connections, whatever, you call me. I will. I drive away from the estate, from the children, from another household where I was invisible until I refused to be. The story makes local news. Socialite Victoria Montgomery's whirlwind marriage ends in scandal. The coverage is mostly sympathetic to David, devoted father, successful businessman, taken advantage of by a gold digger. Some outlets paint Victoria as a victim too. Young woman overwhelmed by instant family, judged too harshly. Almost no coverage mentions the children. That's fine. They deserve privacy, peace, the chance to heal without public scrutiny. I'm mentioned exactly once. Household staff member who raised concerns about child welfare. Not by name. Not with details. Just another invisible caregiver who noticed something. 3 months later, I'm working for a new family. Different city, different circumstances. A single mother this time, working 2 jobs to support her teenage son while her ex-husband sends nothing. I help with homework, make dinners, keep the small apartment organized. It's humble work. Necessary work. The kind of work that matters more than wedding receptions and champagne service in estates that look like museums. I get a card in the mail. Lily's careful handwriting. We miss you. Daddy says we can ride if we want. James drew you a picture. He still sleeps with Mr. Elephant. The drawing shows 3 stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. Me, Lily and James. I put it on my refrigerator. I think about Victoria sometimes. About whether she's capable of change. Whether she understood what she was doing to those children, or if she genuinely believed her convenience mattered more than their trauma. I think about David, about how good people can fail to see what's right in front of them when they want something badly enough. When love, or what they think is love, blinds them to truth. I think about all the Victorias in wealthy households across the world. The charming narcissists who marry for money and see stepchildren as obstacles. The ones who are subtle enough, smart enough, cruel enough to leave no marks. And I think about all the Claires, the caregivers, the maids, the invisible staff who see everything and have to decide whether speaking up is worth the cost. Usually it costs everything. Your job, your references, your reputation. But silence costs more. A year after the wedding that wasn't, David calls. The kids want to see you. If you're comfortable with that. No pressure. I'd love that. We meet at a park. Neutral territory. Lily runs to me first, taller now, healthier. James follows, no thumb in his mouth, grinning. Claire, guess what? Daddy takes us to school now. Every day. That's wonderful. David hangs back, letting them chatter. When they run off to the playground, he joins me on the bench. We're okay, he says. Really okay. Therapy helps. Time helps. Actual parenting helps. I'm glad. I'm dating again. Slowly. Someone the kids actually like this time. He smiles. I ask their opinion about things now. Revolutionary concept. Sounds healthy. I almost married someone who would have destroyed them. His voice goes quiet. If you hadn't spoken up, someone would have eventually. Would they? Everyone else stayed quiet. The previous nanny, the staff, even my own assistant noticed things, but didn't want to overstep. You were the only one willing to risk everything. I've been silent before, I tell him. About other things. It taught me that protecting yourself isn't worth someone else's suffering. Where did you learn that? I think about Maya. About my sister who died because I didn't question her boyfriend's controlling behavior loudly enough, soon enough, urgently enough. About being young and afraid and deferring to adults who seem to know better. About learning, too late, that knowing better means nothing if you're too afraid to act. Experience, I say simply. Lily and James visit me twice a month after that. We bake cookies, play games, talk about school and friends and their new life with their present father instead of their absent one. They're healing. Slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. Do you think Victoria's sorry? Lily asks one day while we frost cupcakes. I don't know, sweetheart. Some people are sorry they got caught. Some are sorry they hurt people. They're different things. Which one is she? I honestly don't know. Lily considers this, then nods. Daddy says some people can't love other people properly because they only love themselves. He says it's sad, but we don't have to fix them. Your dad's a smart man. He learned it in therapy. She grins. We all go. Even James. This is how healing looks. Not dramatic, not instant. Just slow recognition that what happened wasn't normal, wasn't okay, and doesn't have to define the future. If this story touched you, if you've ever been the person who notices things others miss, if you've ever had to choose between silence and speaking up, if you've ever protected someone who couldn't protect themselves, I want you to tell someone. Not for drama, not for attention, because silence protects abusers more than it protects victims, because children can't advocate for themselves, because the smallest voice asking the hardest question might save a life. I'm not a hero. I'm a caregiver who decided documentation mattered more than employment, who decided truth mattered more than peace. It cost me a job I needed. It saved 2 children who needed protection more. That math works out differently for everyone. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm telling you it mattered. The world needs people who notice, who document, who speak up when it costs something. Be that person. Be the one who sees what everyone else is trained to ignore. Be the one who believes children over charismatic adults. Be the one who understands that household staff aren't furniture. We're witnesses to the private versions of public people. We see you there when no one important is watching. Sometimes that witness testimony saves lives. 3 years after the wedding, I get an invitation. David's getting married again. To the woman he's been dating. Someone kind, patient, someone the children genuinely love. The invitation is addressed to me, handwritten. Please come. The kids insist. So do I. Your family. I almost don't go. It feels strange, complicated. But Lily calls. You have to come. You're The reason Daddy learned to pay attention. You're the reason we have a good family now. So I attend. I sit in the back, just another guest. I watch David marry someone who makes his children smile. I watch Lily and James participate in the ceremony, happy and included and safe. At the reception, Lily drags me onto the dance floor. James shows me his ring bearer medal. They're loud, joyful, beautifully alive. No one slaps me this time. No one notices me at all, except the people who matter. And that's exactly how it should be. I keep working, keep noticing, keep documenting when something feels wrong. Most situations don't require dramatic intervention. Most families are doing their best with imperfect tools and genuine love. But some aren't. And for those situations, I'm ready. I'm the maid who whispers truth to power. I'm the invisible witness who becomes visible when necessary. I'm the person who learned that silence protects the wrong people. And I'll never forget that speaking up, even when it costs everything, matters more than keeping peace. Because peace built on someone's suffering isn't peace. It's complicity. And I'm done being complicit. The next time you see household staff, the caregivers, the maids, the invisible laborers who keep wealthy homes running, remember we see things. We notice patterns. We hear conversations. We document reality. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, we care enough to risk everything to protect the powerless. That whisper at the altar? It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. The truth matters more than the performance. Always.